Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where we bring you the most current and factual developments surrounding Iraq's financial landscape. Today's update is generating major buzz in global economic circles. The Central Bank of Iraq and the World Trade Organization have both issued new and unexpected updates that could significantly impact the future of the Iraqi dinar. As of the current date in the USA, many analysts and investors are beginning to believe that a turning point is near. If you've been tracking developments closely, this might be the moment that shifts everything. Is the long-speculated revaluation actually around the corner? Let's dig into the facts, not the hype. The Iraqi dinar has remained a frequent topic of speculation, but this time the discussion isn't just driven by investor enthusiasm. It's anchored in direct commentary and signals from two of the most important financial entities connected to Iraq's future, the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, and the World Trade Organization, WTO. Both institutions have recently made statements that, while not using the term revaluation directly, strongly suggest a deliberate effort to strengthen Iraq's currency on the global stage. These aren't vague possibilities, they're concrete moves with real implications. The Central Bank of Iraq, in a series of public remarks, confirmed that preparations are underway for deep financial reforms. Although they avoided using buzzwords, they did emphasize improving the dinar's value and fortifying monetary policies. They discussed enhancing Iraq's foreign currency reserves, updating regulatory structures, and taking measured steps to attract international investment. These moves, especially when bundled together, signal a broader strategy. The goal appears to be positioning Iraq for a reintegration into global finance, not as a struggling economy, but as a country ready to compete on equal footing. Equally important is the role of the World Trade Organization. In a recent speech, WTO officials highlighted Iraq's increased engagement and suggested that full integration into global trade networks is becoming a realistic objective. This is no small milestone. As Iraq seeks stronger trade partnerships, the consistency and credibility of its national currency become far more important. Revaluation, or at least some form of adjustment, would be a logical next step for any country preparing to fully enter international markets. Another clear indicator of Iraq's direction is its shift toward digitization. The central bank has confirmed that work is underway on launching a digital dinar. This development alone is significant. A digital version of the currency would allow for better oversight of transactions, increase transparency, and reduce corruption, a challenge that has weighed heavily on Iraq's financial system for years. More importantly, implementing a digital currency system is a necessary foundation for any country considering a revaluation. Without robust infrastructure in place, currency transitions can create confusion or be vulnerable to abuse. Iraq appears determined to avoid those pitfalls. Adding to this momentum is the reemergence of the deletion of zeros project. This long-standing initiative, which would simplify transactions by removing extra zeros from banknotes, is reportedly still under review and moving through internal discussions. If enacted, this change would not affect the actual value of the currency, but would make daily usage more practical. A 10,000 dinar note might become 10 dinars, with purchasing power unchanged. This move typically precedes major monetary adjustments and signals strong intent to restore public trust in the currency's usability and value. All of these reforms, currency stabilization, digital modernization, deletion of zeros, are being synchronized with an increasingly optimistic economic outlook. Iraq's oil production is ramping up, its non-oil sectors are gradually receiving more support, and major international corporations are starting to take Iraq seriously as a long-term investment opportunity. This is not the Iraq of a decade ago. The government is actively seeking to diversify its economy, and with organizations like the WTO backing that effort, new capital may soon flow in at an unprecedented rate. Confidence is key when it comes to currency strength, and the combination of better oil revenues, rising foreign investment, and transparent economic policy is precisely what fuels that confidence. When outside observers believe that Iraq's reforms are not just talk but backed by action, it lays the groundwork for a stronger dinar. It also shows that Iraq is willing to adopt international standards of financial responsibility, something that had long been lacking in prior administrations. But what makes this moment particularly compelling is that we're not just hearing about intentions anymore, we're seeing implementations. New anti-corruption measures are being enforced, currency regulations are becoming tighter and more consistent, the banking system is being updated to handle digital and international transactions with greater efficiency. These aren't cosmetic changes, they're fundamental overhauls that indicate serious intent. So where does this leave dinar holders and potential investors? The answer is at the edge of a potentially historic transition. While there has been no official confirmation of a revaluation date, the structure being put in place is far more developed than at any time in the past. Those who already hold dinar may be wise to remain observant and informed. Timing could become critically important in the weeks and months ahead. As conditions continue to shift, any official announcements could come quickly and require fast decisions. The recent shift in global sentiment surrounding the Iraqi dinar isn't just about local reform. It's about how Iraq is now being viewed internationally. Financial analysts who once dismissed the dinar as too speculative are beginning to reconsider. Rising oil revenues, consistent communication from the central bank, and visible improvements in regulation have reshaped the narrative. Iraq is no longer seen as a stalled economy clinging to outdated systems. It's beginning to look like a nation preparing for a major comeback. And that transformation is attracting the attention of economists and market watchers who typically avoid high-risk markets. These changes are not only visible in policy but also in Iraq's increasing reserves. The Central Bank of Iraq recently disclosed that it has been steadily building up both gold and foreign currency holdings. This is not a minor development. Such reserves provide the financial strength needed to stabilize the dinar in the face of a significant monetary transition. When a country holds substantial gold and currency reserves, it allows greater control over inflation and reinforces the credibility of any monetary shifts, especially something as complex as a revaluation. These signals indicate that Iraq is preparing carefully and strategically, not rushing into changes it can't support. Still, no transformation happens without hurdles. Iraq continues to grapple with political instability, internal divisions, and ongoing regional tensions. These issues have the potential to disrupt or delay financial reform efforts. That's why every step forward must be monitored carefully. Even with strong messaging from the central bank and positive signals from the WTO, it's important to remember that meaningful reforms take time to mature. Rebuilding a currency's reputation after years of economic decline and political unrest is never a quick process, but the consistency and discipline being shown today were largely absent in previous cycles of speculation. One of the smartest moves by Iraq's leadership has been embracing digital finance as a tool for accountability. The plan to launch a digital dinar isn't just about keeping up with modern trends, it's about transparency. Digital platforms make it easier to track financial transactions, prevent money laundering, and give international partners confidence in Iraq's systems. By building the architecture now, Iraq is positioning itself to smoothly handle an increased volume of transactions in a more controlled environment. This is particularly important in a post-RV scenario, where transaction velocity and public engagement will spike. Another key point is public education. Iraq has begun preparing its citizens for potential currency changes. That may include education campaigns around deleting zeros or transitioning to digital payment systems. These efforts are crucial because no monetary reform can succeed without public understanding and trust. When populations aren't adequately informed, even well-intentioned financial changes can create confusion or panic. But Iraq seems to understand this and is taking steps to keep the population informed ahead of any shifts. The international environment also appears more favorable than ever, with global interest rates shifting, inflation rising in many parts of the world, and countries across Europe and Asia exploring digital currency transitions. Iraq's timing could align perfectly. The global financial order is in the midst of a structural change, and Iraq has a rare chance to ride that wave if it continues its reforms. The global trend toward digital integration and monetary resets is no longer speculation, it's a fact. Iraq's challenge now is to take advantage of this timing and align its internal readiness with these external shifts. For those holding dinar, this environment should be watched closely. Yes, patience is still required. No, the central bank has not issued a firm revaluation date, but the volume and intensity of reforms being implemented right now suggest that a major currency shift is not just possible, it's being prepared for. The slow but steady unveiling of digital infrastructure, increasing gold and currency reserves, engagement with the WTO, and tightening financial laws all point in the same direction. Iraq isn't standing still. The leadership seems intent on fixing the foundational problems that have plagued its economy for decades. These problems, corruption, lack of infrastructure, financial opacity, are finally being addressed in a way that appears both coordinated and forward-looking. That doesn't mean challenges are over, but it does mean that Iraq is doing more than just making promises. It's implementing real systems with lasting impact. As we move toward what could be a pivotal moment for Iraq's financial future, the question many are asking is not if change will come, but when. For months, speculation around a revaluation has grown louder, but this time it's accompanied by tangible evidence. Iraq is building infrastructure, it's increasing reserves, it's modernizing its systems. These are not characteristics of a country clinging to old habits. These are the actions of a nation preparing to step forward. One of the clearest signs of readiness is how Iraq is now engaging with global financial institutions. Partnerships with the World Trade Organization, technical collaboration with regulatory bodies, and increased participation in regional economic forums all demonstrate a new kind of diplomacy, one that is based on financial trust and cooperation. Iraq wants to be seen not just as a nation recovering from conflict, but as a viable player in international commerce, and currency strength is a crucial part of that perception. The recent increase in investor interest also speaks volumes. Many private firms are once again considering Iraq as a frontier market. That attention isn't just driven by oil, it's tied to the belief that Iraq may soon have a currency and financial system worthy of long-term engagement. And that belief is being reinforced by every reform passed, every reserve built, and every regulation enforced. The return of foreign capital could play a massive role in lifting the value of the dinar organically, even before any official revaluation is declared. Still, expectations must remain measured. Economic transformation is not guaranteed. It requires consistency, political will, and public support. Former President Trump once hinted that major shifts in the Middle East's political and financial structure were imminent. While his words weren't tied directly to Iraq, they echoed the sentiment that the region is due for a major economic correction. In that context, a more powerful Iraqi dinar could serve as a stabilizing force, not just for Iraq, but for the region at large. The Iraqi government has also been smart in recognizing that a digital transformation alone isn't enough. They've started preparing the public with awareness campaigns, laying out what currency reform might look like, explaining how new systems would function, and ensuring citizens are not caught off guard. That kind of preparation is rare in emerging economies, and it's yet another signal that this effort is far more serious than past cycles of speculation. There's also alignment with global timing. As more countries begin restructuring their debt, introducing digital currencies, and resetting outdated systems, Iraq has a real window of opportunity. If it continues its current pace, it could match the global rhythm of economic reinvention and benefit from it. And perhaps most importantly, Iraq is no longer walking this road alone. It has the endorsement and guidance of global institutions that want to see it succeed, not just for Iraq's sake, but for the region's stability as a whole. So what does all of this mean for those still holding Iraqi dinar? It means we are in the most promising phase yet. But it also means that information, not emotion, should guide every decision. Stay alert to official updates from the central bank. Watch for developments in digital finance. Monitor public education efforts and any WTO policy shifts. And remember, being prepared is better than being surprised. If Iraq continues along its current path, we may witness something historic. A revaluation, when done correctly, isn't just about boosting numbers. It's about boosting national confidence. It's about giving citizens a stronger currency that can hold its value on global exchanges and restore financial dignity at home. It's about progress that can be felt not just by elites, but by families in every province, in every city. And while no one can give you the exact date when this shift might occur, it is clear that Iraq is setting the table. The reforms are not half measures. They are bold, coordinated, and supported by major economic entities. That alone is worth noting, because when preparation meets opportunity, change is inevitable. Thank you for joining us today on Iraqi Dinar News. If you found this update helpful, please consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you never miss a critical report. Your support helps us reach more people who want to stay informed about Iraq's economic future. Share this video with anyone you know who holds dinar or is considering entering the market. The more informed we are, the better decisions we can make. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and stay hopeful. Iraq's story isn't finished, it's just beginning. And, if you're paying close attention, you might just witness a moment that defines the next chapter of the nation's financial history.